Shot.
Hey, to Sonic the Hedgehog.
To Sonic the Hedgehog.
Whoa,
you
my
can't
face
drink
looked
because he's
funny
12.
Sonic's 12?
He's definitely not 21.
Oh.
Ooh. That one was bad today. Jesus Christ.
Welcome back, everyone, to Podland. I am your host, Nick, and I'm joined by both of my co-hosts this week. Jason, welcome back. And
Thank you.
Ian.
I'm back.
I was here.
I guess welcome back as well, because you just came back from Alabama.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We almost were an international podcast if you would have just kept driving south.
Gosh. If you would have just kept driving. What were you in Alabama for, Ian?
My girlfriend's graduation.
So she is real. I did see you posted a photo.
Yeah, you freaking DM'd me, and I totally forgot to respond. But yeah, she is real, just like my pilot's license. So
I'm still not convinced on either of those things. I need
Okay.
documented proof on both of those.
I'm just a mystery man. I'm just a question mark man. Okay, I'm just going through life, and this is where life took me, is to you fine gentlemen on this this podcast. So
Well, I feel like I owe all 8 listeners an apology for missing last week.
I know.
I do apologize. It was a crazy 4 or 5 days last weekend.
Joe Biden kicked you out of Seattle.
Joe Biden kicked me out of Seattle. We were on a plane last Friday on our way to Seattle. We were around the Portland area. And for those who don't know, I'm flying from LA. So from LA to Seattle, around Portland, our plane turns around and the pilot gets on the speakers and says, "Hey guys, you might have noticed we just took a 180-degree turn. Unfortunately, Joe Biden, our president, he made sure to clarify as our president, just in case we weren't aware of that fact."
Joe Biden, our former vice president.
Ridiculous. And so he goes, Joe Biden, our president, is in Seattle right now, and he's being delayed, and so they are diverting every airplane in the vicinity away. So we have to go all the way back to San Francisco, refuel, and we're going back to LA.
What was the time? What was the layover time in San Francisco?
We sat at the gate in San Francisco. Well, originally we weren't supposed to lay over in San Francisco. It was a direct flight, but we turned around, came back.
But they had to go back to
San
Francisco to fuel.
We sat there for probably an hour or two, and then
on the plane, or were you able to get off?
No, on the plane.
Oof, that's the most claustrophobic you can be.
Were you able to listen to Podland at all, like on your headset or AirPods?
I listened to some things. Podland was not one of them. Although I did listen to your guys' pod last week. Well done, guys.
Oh, thank you.
It was a good listen. And I feel like I should say my 2 cents on the Northman.
We said that we would give you 30 seconds. I'm going to bring up a timer, and you have 30 seconds to talk about your 5 of 5 star movie. Ready? Set. Go.
This was a superb film. Didn't miss a single beat. I waited for days to give this a 5 out of 5. It's only my second 5 out of 5 film. Alex Skarsgård, phenomenal. Robert Eggers is on a fire streak right now. He does not miss. This was the most exhilarating Norse mythology revenge thriller I've ever seen. You should go out in the theaters and see this now.
All right, stop.
That was perfect.
No more.
That was perfect.
No more talking about that one.
I feel like I deserve like an applause for that one.
Pretty good.
That was good. That was good.
Thank you.
Good, Jason.
You spent half the time saying Alexander Skarsgård's name, but pretty good. You recovered well.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
Let's do some quick draft talk, guys.
Yeah, it seems like you guys had a pretty busy weekend. I watched the draft like a nerd all weekend. I'm representing the Baltimore Ravens, who many said had the best draft. Not gonna brag, but
yeah, is that your new cap? Show
the
viewers your new cap.
I'll spin around.
For those who are on YouTube.
Yeah.
Very, very slick. Very slick.
Very cool, very fresh. Yeah, I loved the draft that the Ravens had. I was even more excited that the Lions got the hometown kid in Aiden. You both are Lions fans. You guys like that pick?
Yes. very much.
We had a fantastic draft.
Yeah.
We
We
as
had an
Lions
A+ drive. So.
Yeah, we were lucky that Aiden Hutchinson, although I'm a Michigan State fan, so I have zero love for him as a person or his alum.
It has to be cast aside now.
Yeah,
It
it's
has
got
to be cast aside. It's
now.
the same with Magic Johnson. Oh, not Magic Johnson. It's the same with Tom Brady. I'm a huge fan of him just because of his greatness, and I just forget where he went to college. Magic, obviously, is from my beloved Michigan State. But Aiden Hutchinson, we got lucky he fell to number 2.
Honestly,
we picked
yeah.
him up. And then I think we made a really bold, it's a risky play, but we traded up to get Jameson Williams, a wide receiver from Alabama, who has huge potential. There's a question mark because he's kind of hurt right now. Mm-hmm. But if he comes back and he's healthy, there's talk that he could be the best receiver in the draft.
Yeah,
him and St. Brown would be a deadly duo.
Yeah,
for Jared Goff.
If his ACL was not torn, he would have been the first wide receiver taken in the draft easily.
Yep. Yeah, big time.
Yep.
So I'm happy with the draft. I am. Well, we should get right into topics because we have a packed episode today.
This is like the most
triple
news.
Yeah, we have like a triple patty episode today. So
I don't even. Well, we were debating on our text chain this week what we were even going to title this episode because we're covering so much information.
Yeah, it's a lot, but from the amount of messages that Nick sent us, I would say this episode would probably be called Sonic 2 and Other Things. So
Sonic 2,
and I probably just set us up for failure there, Jason. I'm sorry.
I hate that you even brought that damned name up.
I'm sorry.
All right. Well, there were 2 trailers that I had like sitting on all week for us to talk about. And then Jason, you dropped a big one today, which we'll get to last.
Oh yeah, and it's the only one I care about now.
It's
the only one I care about.
Return of Pew Corner. So the first trailer, new trailer for Jurassic World Dominion. Ian, you are our resident Jurassic Park hat owner. Why don't you give your thoughts on this?
I'm excited to see the Gigantosaurus.
Oh, the Gigantosaurus.
You probably still think that's made up, but it's not.
Oh no, it's the Joker. It's the Joker dinosaur.
It's the Joker dinosaur. Oh, look at that! It's Joaquin Phoenix in prehistoric time. No, it looks like a Jurassic World movie. So
it looks ridiculous.
I don't know. Yeah, it does. I think there's something for everybody in this, meaning, we got Italian car chase scenes, where dinosaurs are running on top of buildings, and then we have snow. We got dinosaurs on Hoth, and just everything. So at this point, I'm gonna see it because it's Jurassic World, and supposedly it's the last one.
Yeah, it's like the conclusion.
So yeah, so obviously I'm gonna see it, but it doesn't look anything outstanding. I'm sure it's gonna pull a lot of money just because it's got that nostalgia feature. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like the first Jurassic World installment way back in 2016 was not
15.
bad, but 15 was not bad.
No,
and
that honestly, Jurassic World is probably my second favorite out of the Jurassic Park franchise.
Honestly, that's a good point because 2 and 3 kind of struggled a lot, but honestly it's kind of the same way in this trilogy. It's just been going downhill since. And if it's a little bit better than Fallen Kingdom, that's a win.
Yeah,
in my book.
I agree. Because Fallen Kingdom felt like 2 movies that they just fused together so that they could get the dinosaurs outside of the park.
Yeah, it was just awful.
Jay, what did you think?
I'm pretty lukewarm on it, and I think it's because I was so lukewarm on Fallen Kingdom. I don't think the movie was terrible, like the way you guys maybe just suggested. I just thought it was fine. I didn't think it was anything special. I thought Jurassic World was pretty decent. I enjoyed both of the new iterations of the Jurassic Park franchise, but I don't think that they were anything super special. And this trailer felt super generic to me. I watched it and I thought, well, obviously I'm gonna go watch it. I already have my tickets to it. I'm an AMC StubHubs member, so I already booked my tickets to go see it. I'm sure I will enjoy it. It's Jurassic Park. I'm mostly excited about the return of Sam Neill and Lauren Dunn, the classics.
Agreed.
Yep.
But beyond that, I don't know. It looks fine. It looks
Yeah.
like a CGI slugfest. And
I mean,
hey, here's a take that I was gonna say it's unpopular, but maybe it's not unpopular. I don't know. The dinosaurs in the original Jurassic Park movie look more real and better than the CGI dinosaurs in the Jurassic World franchise.
I would agree.
So I watch the opening scene to this trailer is like a bunch of dinosaurs running on a snowy hilltop.
Yeah.
Instantaneously, I was like, that's fake. That is so obviously it's fake because it's dinosaurs, but it felt so animated, so computer generated. Whereas Jurassic Park, obviously, as we all know, used practical, handmade dinosaurs.
Yeah, and you can
It felt tactile. It felt real.
You can make the same argument for Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, whereas Lord of the Rings had practical effects for all the orcs, and then The Hobbit had a bunch of CGI. And looking back, The Hobbit's not awful, but how much more amazing it would be if the orcs would have practical effects.
It almost makes you feel. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I'd be interested in your take. I almost am concerned in the direction that the CGI effects world is heading in. Like, I feel like the practical effects of the practical effects of the 90s, of the 2000s feel so much better to me because I don't have a better word for it other than tactile. It feels real. It feels like, okay, I could reach through the screen and like touch this thing. It is real.
Shout out The Mummy. Yep.
Yeah, The Mummy's a great example too. Dude, but the last couple of years,
I think
an understatement. The last decade has been super computer generated CGI, and it's getting good. Some of it is fantastic, but it doesn't feel real at all. I saw a tweet. I'm back on Twitter. Thanks, Elon, Daddy Elon. I'm back on Twitter. I saw a tweet showing some close-ups of Pirates of the Caribbean 2 with Davy Jones.
Oh,
holds up.
Dude, that movie is almost 2 decades old, and the practical effects on that
so
thing
good.
and the CGI is unbelievable. It's
so
like,
good.
dude, how have we not jumped leaps and bounds from this in 20 years? And it just feels like we haven't. I need to summarize here because we're already running along on the very first topic, and it's a jam-packed episode. But I wasn't impressed by the CGI in the trailer, and I'm just so on the movie. I'll watch it. I'm sure I'll enjoy it a little bit, but I'm not super stoked.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the second trailer, A24's newest horror movie, Bodies. What'd you guys think about this trailer? I thought it looked kind of fun.
It looks
a little
it
partial
looks like
to the slasher genre. So it looks fun. Headlined by Pete Davidson's in it. Rachel Sennette's in it. Like it looks fun. Lee Pace is in it. Looks fun. Bunch of rich kids go in a house and they start dying one at a time. Yeah. So looks fun.
It looks like a Gen Z just slugfest in a house right now.
The trailer was so incredibly Gen Z.
If it's anything like how it's advertised, just with the colors and the shots and the frames, I think it could be pretty enjoyable. I think so. Jason?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's supposed to be satire on the Gen Z generation.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that trailer was so clearly over the top with how they were behaving that it's clearly satire.
I'm slightly interested. Obviously, Pete Davidson is becoming such a giant name. If Pete Davidson wasn't in the movie, the only draw for me would be the A24 name. Mm-hmm. But it looks interesting. I'll probably check it out. But didn't catch my eye necessarily.
When's the release date?
August 5th. End of summer.
August 5th, yeah.
Cool.
I think I'll check it out. I mean, the satire that it showed in the self-awareness that it showed during the first trailer seemed somewhat interesting and funny to me. So I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Jason, I'm going to punt this last trailer over to you. And we are going to preface this with we have now entered Pew Corner. Ian, I think you missed the episode where we had the first Pew Corner.
I think so. Is that the Adam Project?
Yeah, it is best if you close your mouth, sit back, and let Jason take the reins. Welcome to Pew Corner.
Thank you, Nicholas Stites. I would like to welcome all of our listeners of Podland into Pew Corner. This is a segment where I, Jason Gingery, fangirl out on the greatest, the most beautiful actress known to planet Earth, whose name happens to be Florence Pugh. Florence Pugh is in a new psychological thriller / horror movie called Don't Worry, Darling. It stars Harry Styles, Olivia Wilde, and, of course, Florence Pugh. And it's actually directed by Olivia Wilde. I'm just going to take this right off the bat. Florence Pugh, I mean, I've said it before and I've said it again. And also, I just have to tell you guys, and those listening and those watching.
Bro, your voice is cracking.
Dude,
It's on the voice.
Your face is red.
Well, my face is red because I literally got sunburned yesterday. I put no sunscreen on, and I had beach service at church all morning long, and then I went and played golf yesterday.
Yeah.
No sunscreen.
Oh, jeez, wow.
I just got torched. Also, I feel like I'm a little stuffed up. And then on top of all that, I've eaten nothing today. It's 4:30 p.m. and I've already started drinking for the pod, so I feel pretty loose. Okay, let me tell you guys about Don't Worry, Darling. Well, specifically about Florence Pugh. I think she is one of the hottest actresses going today. I think she's immensely talented, and I think anything with her name is going to draw people in. I thought this trailer looked really interesting. Olivia Wilde directed it, which is interesting. She's directed only a couple movies in the past. It's a classic. It's a classic basic mystery, psychological horror type of deal. Florence Pugh and Olivia Wilde, along with some other female actresses, are like these wives. It almost feels like a NASA astronaut type of situation where they're kind of in their own community. The husbands go do a job. They don't know what's going on. And the whole movie is probably about Florence Pugh discovering what her husband and the other husbands of this community are actually doing for a living. And spoiler alert, it's not going to be good. But I thought the trailer looked fantastic. And obviously I'm going to go see anything Florence Pugh is in. What do you guys think?
Yeah, looks great.
Ian's laughing at me.
Looks pretty good.
fun.
I think out of all these trailers that we've mentioned today, I think that one looks the most promising. I can see it crashing and burning, but if Olivia Wilde plays her cards right, she's got a pretty stacked cast. I think this could be something Jason will engrave into his memory forever.
Yeah, this is the movie that ruined Jason Sudeikis' life, so it has a pretty high bar to cross.
Yeah.
Nick sent me a text that was hysterical. He said, what did you say, Nick? Like
I said list of Jasons that this movie has ruined, and I said 1 Jason Sudeikis, 2 Jason Gingery.
Well, there's some scenes in here where Harry Styles plays Florence Pugh's husband.
Uh-oh.
And all I wanted to do is just kill Harry Styles. I just wanted to.
Is that the first time you've ever felt that way about Harry Styles?
He's not the first Jason to feel that way.
It's the first time I felt that way about another man. You know, I saw him making out with Florence Pugh, and I just got upset.
Oh my gosh! All right, well, let's take a hard pivot out of trailers.
And we're moving out of Pew Corner. I apologize.
Yeah.
Pew Corner has concluded.
Hopefully, we'll stop by soon enough, but yep.
This is a topic that we probably won't talk about much, but it came up twice this week. Directors leaving billion-dollar movies. So John Watts, who was tapped to direct the MCU's Fantastic Four, which is currently slated to start filming in early 2023, stepped away from the project, citing that he needed a breather from comic book movies.
Which I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. I mean, I am kind of glad that he's not doing Fantastic Four. I don't think his Spider-Man movies look the best visually, and I think Fantastic Four has the opportunity to be a more visually stimulating movie than Spider-Man. I think is like really relies on the green and blue screen, kind of what we were saying with how CGI hasn't really like No Way Home. If you really look at it, especially compared to like the Batman, it feels like No Way Home was filmed in like a shoebox.
Yeah,
which it's fine. It made $1 billion and
it was still
plus.
enjoyable.
It was fine.
It's not.
But
it's
like
not that any of these CGI movies are not enjoyable. It's just it's getting away from how directors were made to be creative and like coming up with different ideas. So
you guys have any strong feelings towards John Watts leaving Fantastic Four?
No, I think his Spidey movies are good. They're not outstanding or anything.
They're not
I think
amazing.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't think it's so much about John Watts as I think it is just clearing the way for John Krasinski to come in.
What are the odds? We need a FanDuel odds for this so you can bet it.
I think pretty high because.
Do you think he'll actually be like the? I feel like they would have cast him by now. If he would have been Mr. Fantastic.
I don't know. I maybe they're keeping it a surprise.
It could have been a situation where John Krasinski said to Kevin Feige, "Hey, I'll play Fantastic or Mr. Fantastic, but I also have to direct." So that's my stipulation to play it.
If you are right, I'll give you $100, and that's on camera. If John Krasinski directs Fantastic Four, I will give you directs it. If he directs
it, he doesn't have to play Mr. Fantastic.
He just has to direct it. If he directs Fantastic Four, I'll give you $100.
So you obviously feel very strongly that he's not going to direct it.
Why? No, I think that's a crazy claim. So I'm just betting. I'm just addicted to betting.
I don't think it's not. I don't even think it's a. Sorry,
I don't think it's crazy. He's got a
claim. I think it's very obvious.
Yeah, I think he's got a good track record when it comes to directing movies and starring in the same time. So
he's what, 2 for 2?
Well, he didn't.
3 for 3 because he did. Well,
actually, yeah, 2 for 2. Oh my gosh. Okay, keep going, guys.
All right, and then our second bit of directors leaving billion-dollar franchises. Justin Lin left the shooting of Fast X after a week. And Jason, I think I sent you the video that Vin Diesel posted. Like the first day of filming, and Vin was like, "Man, we just started. Lin, do you think this is going to be the best the best Fast X?" And it looked like Justin Lin was a hostage.
It was the cringiest videos I may have ever seen in my life. Also, one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. It's like a 25-second clip.
It's so funny. You look it up.
And at the same time, I never want to watch it ever again. It was so cringy because you could tell that Justin Lin knew he was leaving during the video. You knew he was fed up with Vin Diesel, and he's like, "I'm getting out of here, and I just have to do this with a weird video for him first." It's this is pretty rare for a director to leave mid-shoot. I mean, they just
not even
shooting.
Mid, like a week, like they started filming a week ago. It's so crazy.
Isn't Justin Lin also credited as a writer as well?
Yeah, he's directed like 5 of these things.
It's super bizarre. Like, there's definitely a lot of back end, behind the curtain turmoil that's going on.
Well, he said that
not aware.
Diesel is showing up late to set. He's not knowing his lines, and he's currently out of shape. That's what came out of Justin Lin's camp. So
no wonder The Rock left these movies.
Yeah, because The Rock is on a strict diet.
Right.
Well, no wonder that The Rock isn't interested in working with Vin Diesel again. I don't think it's about the movies with Justin Lin.
No, I should have clarified it's with Diesel. So I'm sure a lot of Justin Lin's frustrations come with Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of other stuff, like to your point, Jason, that we don't know about, that's happened a lot behind the scene. And honestly, at this point, I'm sure he's just like John Watts. He's just sick of these movies. I'm sure he's sick of them. And you can't blame the guy for wanting to get out. So
I'm not interested in the movie at all, but I'm slightly interested in the story. So it'll be interesting to see what the studio does moving forward, because they're gonna have to get a director at ASAP. Because
it's
again,
costing
they shot
them
a week already.
Yeah, it's costing them $500,000 to $1 million a day because they just have the crew on standby.
Unbelievable.
Which I don't know how that works. I don't know if the director is supposed to learn as he shoots. But,
they just show up and they're like, all right, we're doing this on the fly. New Fast movie.
Exactly. So we'll see how this turns out. But, I mean, if they get a semi-big name, it could be good. But maybe they'll get John Krasinski to direct Fast X.
Yeah. if John Krasinski directs Fast X, I'll give you $200.
Okay.
Oh, hello.
All right.
Okay.
Our last stretch of news. CinemaCon happened over the past week in Las Vegas. CinemaCon is an expo for movie theater owners and chain owners to go and have the studios kind of present what's coming down the pipeline. It's not as big as, say, Comic-Con, but they kind of show more of the technical stuff, and there's trailers that come out of it.
It's for all the movie theater owners, right?
Yeah. And
I think
this year,
it'd be as big as Comic-Con if it was called Cinecon. Just cut out them. So sorry, that's just my 2 cents.
CinemaCon, we'll pitch that. We'll send this to CinemaCon.
Cool.
Okay.
And this is the most news I remember coming out of it. Like a trailer or two drops every year, but we got a lot of stuff. Right off the bat, we have name changes or movies being named. The first is a Quiet Place spinoff, not to be confused with A Quiet Place Part 3, which is still being slated for 2025. This Quiet Place spinoff is now called A Quiet Place Day 1, and it is being, looks like it's going to come out in 2023. So we have 2 A Quiet Place movies coming down the pipeline.
So I bet I can guess, like, what timeline this is set up as.
It's the first day, the day that they come.
Yeah. That's what that's what I was gonna say, man. But
do you guys have any thoughts on?
I'm excited. I mean, so far I like the 2 movies that we've seen so far. I think the second one was a little weaker than the first one, but that's typically how it goes. But I think, this is a world that definitely
This is a world.
This is a world that people want more explanation on. Like, when did they come? Like, did they come on a giant ship, or did they just start falling out of the sky? So, I'm intrigued to see it. Did they mention any names associated with it?
No. John Krasinski is writing and I believe directing Part 3, which is slated for 2025.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that there is a director who is
Justin Lin.
been tapped for. Yeah, Justin Lin is available. Second movie that got named Mission Impossible 7 is now titled Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. And it is slated to come out July 14th, 2023. Pretty cool title, if you ask me. That's an awesome
Dead Reckoning
awesome
Part
title.
1.
Followed by Dead Reckoning Part 2 in 2024.
5, actually.
This is the rare case of a franchise that as the sequels go on, it gets better.
Yeah,
Like,
Mission Impossible
this franchise
6 is awesome.
rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive what Tom Cruise has been able to turn this franchise into. I don't have any thoughts on the name itself, but I'm stoked
Cool
for the
name.
new movie.
Cool
What do you
name.
mean you don't have any thoughts?
Guys, I'm pretty
Dead
sure
reckoning.
this franchise is it's about to hit a reckoning point. You know what I'm talking about?
It's about to reckon me in the theater.
Okay.
Okay.
Goodness.
We're going off the rails here.
The only I will add this. The only Mission Impossible movies I've seen are 6, 1, and 2.
What the hell?
I
seen the third one?
No, I haven't.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's like the villain. That one's sick.
Okay, that's a little biased. Second of all, I'm not a big
biased.
fan of long hair Tom Cruise. I don't know.
No,
about
that's
you
only the
guys.
second one. The second one's terrible.
Okay, all right, good.
The second one is
Ian,
easily the
that's-
worst one.
That's a franchise you for sure need to watch. It's a great-
He rode around on a motorcycle way too much in the second one.
There's so much unnecessary slow mo in that second one.
The second one is probably the worst of the bunch, but
easily.
definitely watch it.
Okay, all right.
All
keep
right.
that in mind.
The last movie that got a nice old name, Avatar 2. You guys remember Avatar from 2009, the 3D
Wait,
movies?
what's that? Wait, the Avatar.
blue.
The Last Airbender.
They're blue, Ian.
Oh, the Blue Man Group.
Oh yeah. Avatar: The Way of Water is opening December 16th, 2022. 4 new images were released. Did you guys see those at all?
No.
A lot of
not
water.
yet.
A lot of water-based
Oh,
imagery.
is it The Way?
And we're getting a
James
trailer
Cameron's
before
gotta be
Doctor
like a-
Strange. So
James
this weekend
Cameron's
we'll
got
get
to
a
be
trailer.
like 100 years old at this point, right?
Yeah, he's been filming 2, 3, 4, 5 all in a row. Because I think we're getting them every 2 years now.
Okay. That's it's long overdue and I'm very excited. When I heard that number 2 was announced. I mean, it's been in the works obviously, but
It was originally
looked,
supposed to come out in 2013.
yeah, I looked everywhere on the internet for this trailer and then I realized it was only available at CinemaCon, not CinemaCon. So I was like, okay.
Well, we'll see it this weekend.
You told me, Nick, that it'll debut before Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty excited for that. And Jason, you didn't get your thoughts in on A Quiet Place. So what are your thoughts on Avatar?
I'm actually stoked for this movie.
Me too.
I really liked Avatar, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, maybe the story, maybe the writing isn't the most groundbreaking thing in the world, but that's never been James Cameron's claim to fame, anyways. So it was. I think we have short memory and we forget how groundbreaking the first Avatar was.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we've been talking a lot this episode already about CGI, but within the CGI and more importantly, the development of technology in film. Like James Cameron, every movie he does just pushes technology forward, and Avatar was gigantic in the realm of 3D. Mm-hmm. It was probably the only 3D movie I ever remember enjoying. Like it was like
Because it was like made for 3D versus like they took a 2D movie and just like rendered it to 3D. Like that movie was shot for 3D with the intention of the theater experience.
Yep. So there's a ton of jokes that will go around about how this movie has been delayed so many times, and that's obviously very accurate and hysterical, and there's a lot of issues that comes with that. But on the surface, I'm excited for the movie. This one, just like the last one, is made for 3D. The basic broad chatter that have come from CinemaCon on the trailer that everyone saw was very positive. I'm looking forward to it. I'm a believer in James Cameron. I don't care how much people poo-poo on this movie. I'm a believer in James Cameron, and I will be watching this opening night. I will have those 3D glasses on, and I know I'm going to enjoy it.
This is going to break its own record on the box office.
I bet you it does.
Yeah, I think it's going to break its own record. I am with you, Jason. I think the first one's not very strong story-wise.
It's basically Dances with Wolves in space.
Yeah, the world he creates is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And I think just going off of that and I mean, honestly, like the story's not that bad. So
it's a little predictable, but like it's serviceable.
It's still enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you can rewatch and still enjoy after each time. So I'm very excited for it. And I think it's gonna smash its own record. So
Yeah, I'm excited. And people forget James Cameron is responsible for 2 of the best sequels of all time already in Aliens and T2. So I don't know why we've been poo-pooing on this for 13 years. I'm excited. But doubting James Cameron seems silly. Like, the man went into the Marianas Trench to get footage for this. Like, he's an insane director.
It's also truly crazy to think about how long it's been since he's directed a movie, which has been since the first Avatar. He hasn't done anything else since then. And how long ago was that?
He's just 13.
It'll be 13 years because it was Christmas 2009.
How long did The Godfathers go through? Was it 7 years? In the 70s? Like, how long?
2 in the
James
70s,
Cameron,
1 in the early 90s.
How long has James Cameron devoted his life to the Avatar at this point? Like, it's got to be a decade.
I mean, he started doing stuff for it after Titanic, so over 20 years.
It's insane
because it took him 10 years to get Avatar made.
At that point, you just got to respect the dude,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, pretty cool. Moving on to bigger and better news.
No, this isn't.
The Batman
skipping ahead.
2 officially announced with Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson returning. Same writing team, same everything as far as I can read. No just release date yet, but same guys across the board. How are we feeling?
Just the same movie in general. They're just gonna replay it in theaters. So
I'm fine with that.
No, I'm excited. So I shared a tweet with you guys this week with there's no way is it real, but it's the Batman cowl frozen in ice.
And it did look cool.
Yeah, Nick responded, somebody left the freezer open.
You're pushing the Mr. Freeze big time, Ian. You
want
Mr. Freeze?
No, okay, so I realize what I said to you could be confusing. I'm a fan of what you said. I'm not a fan of it being Mr. Freeze. So I'm not pushing it per se. And I've never seen. Is it Batman Returns or is it Batman Forever?
And Robin?
Batman. Sorry.
That had Dr. Freeze or Mr. Freeze? Yeah.
Dr. Freeze.
Dr. Freeze. He is a doctor. We'll forget that.
I've never seen Mr. Freeze on the big screen, but I'm in no way am I pushing this. I'm more of a fan of what you said about it being a night owl. That's
Court of Owls.
Yeah, that's Watchmen. Yeah, Court of Owls. That's right. So I think everybody, because I looked at the tweets that replied under it, and I think everybody is in the same boat as you, Jason. I think they want Batman to stick to his more detective roots and not so much using his fists and whatnot. And so let's hope, Matt Reeves, he's Matt Reeves. I have full trust in him.
The announcement of the Batman 2 is not surprising. It's the most kept secret in Hollywood. I mean, this isn't a shock to anyone. It's obviously you're going to be making a second Batman movie. So that part of it's not really that interesting. What's going to be interesting in the next year or so is when they start giving out some information on what the story's going to be about, which is obviously what we're talking about. I would love for them to continue the trend that they've set up, which is Robert Pattinson's Batman having a heavy emphasis on the detective side of Batman. We've talked about that ad nauseum already on the pod, but he wasn't a very good detective in the first movie, but you can see the raw skills that he has and really it can be developed into. And so, hey, keep on that. Keep on the grounded, tone of the Batman and do Court of Owls or something like that where it can showcase him becoming a better and better detective in this very grounded world. The Mr. Freeze thing would take it in such a bizarre and different direction. I'm not a fan of the character, overall. He's got an interesting storyline and background, but for this franchise, I would not be stoked to see them turn to him as their main villain.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, and I think I say on behalf of Podland here, I just hope Joker has nothing in this. Okay, and that's not a punch to not a punch to Barry Keoghan, because I love Barry Keoghan, and he did his best, and that deleted scene with the Batman and the Joker,
it's a cool isolated clip.
It's cool, and I like how they cut it out, but they still released it on YouTube, and but I just don't want I'm Jokered out. So
I agree.
All
right, you guys ready for a big old downer?
I really just don't. Can we just stay on the high note and cut out this Sony-Verse
Nope.
chugs?
Let's chug through this Sony-Verse thing real quick. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this.
Oh, it's bad. Sony had their presentation at CinemaCon, and they are doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on this weird universe that they've made. Venom 3 announced officially. Venom. Yeah, Venom by Eminem. So stupid.
Hey, it's better than it's got to be better than Dr. Michael Morbius.
Anything's better than that. So that's announced. Down the pipe, Kraven the Hunter is coming out in January 23rd, 2023. So less than a year until we meet Kraven the Hunter. He's played by
Aaron Taylor Johnson, right?
Yeah, Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, baby.
And then they have Madam Web coming next summer, which has Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney, which that's awesome. Madam Web is one of the most obscure characters from the comics and cartoon, very strange. I think they're trying to open back up the multiverse on the Sony end of things, which is hilarious. Because at some point they're going to need to bring a Spider-Man in to fight all of these guys, right?
It's not going to be Andrew Garfield, because Andrew Garfield has taken a break from acting. So
yeah, Andrew Garfield saw Morbius and he was like, nah.
No, I'm out. I need to rethink my life.
And then they announced another movie for January 14th, 2024, El Muerto, played by Bad Bunny. El Muerto he has 2 comic appearances ever.
Interesting.
Sony they have reached the bottom of the barrel, and El Muerto is getting adapted.
Interesting.
It's hard to call him a Spider-Man villain when he the source material barely has a footnote of him.
Bad Bunny was in Fast 9 or F9. Fun fact. Just looking at his IMDb.
So, how are we feeling about the Sony-Verse? We loving this or what?
I'm thinking this is the reason why Justin Lin quit Fast X. Is because he saw Morbius. He was like, no, I'm done with movies.
I'm done making movies. I don't want to be associated with this medium.
I just, the Sony-Verse is just meh, at this point.
I mean, their best movie is Venom 2, and that's not saying much.
It's not.
It's interesting. After our last not our last pod, but our podcast reviewing Morbius, I had a couple of friends ask me, so you actually liked Morbius? You were actually a fan of Morbius? I was like, no, absolutely not. The movie stunk. But I was just trying to play devil's advocate and say it wasn't as horrific as some people said. But it's not a good movie.
I still haven't watched that video you sent me of that guy who watched Morbius 14 times
a
row.
YouTuber Eddie Burback. I highly recommend. He challenged himself to go see Morbius 5 days in a row, but he did it by buying a ticket to Everything Everywhere All at Once because he wanted to support that movie. So he bought five tickets to that movie and then snuck into Morbius.
Honestly, if he bought a ticket to Morbius, he would have saved
was very funny.
He would have saved Morbius.
Very funny video.
Imagine watching that guy dance 5 times and then turn into a vampire real quick. I'm sorry, Jason. Go ahead.
No, it's this whole thing isn't even worth talking about. This whole Sony-Verse thing. No one at Sony knows what they're doing with this thing. If you watch Morbius, you're as confused as anyone else within Sony of what they're doing. So. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't have much opinion or thoughts to say about it. But we should move on, yeah?
One more thing.
yeah, one more thing.
I bet Nathan Drake will come in to fight Venom at some point.
I'm so done. I'm so done.
Okay. All right,
I'm
sorry.
so done with this. All right, let's. You have a last thought, Nick?
No, I just saw Sonic was coming up and I got excited.
Oh my god, dude. All right, and we're gonna have to suffer through probably 5 or 10 minutes of this, but
this is Nick's Sonic corner right here.
Oh my word. We're gonna head into our review portion. So we have a couple movies that we wanted to review and at least mention that kind of got lost in the shuffle this past month. We had a great month of movies, I'd say, guys. I mean, there were a lot of great movies that came out, a lot of big name movies that, whether they were good or not, there was just a lot of big names that came out this month. And so naturally, there were a couple smaller films that just kind of got swept under the rug. So we wanted to take today, as this weekend there wasn't any major releases, to touch on some of these movies. So the first movie we're unfortunately going to talk about, and when I say we are going to talk about, I mean Ian and I are going to sit silently while Nicholas Stites fangirls over Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And I just want to read the synopsis that Nick put in the show notes here. When the maniac Dr. Robot Nick, is that true? I just want to pause it right there. Is Robot Nick?
Robotnik.
Robotnik.
Stop saying Robot
It's
Nick.
not Robot Nick. It's Robotnik.
No, I'm looking at this. It's Robot and then Nick. N-I-K,
That's how it's spelled.
Which is how Nick's name is spelled.
Yeah,
I'm
it
just
is.
going to say when Dr. Robot Nick, I'm just going to say it. You can't tell me otherwise. When Robot Nick returns to Earth with a new ally. I can't even talk. This is so stupid.
Okay, Nick, take it away.
The synopsis. Nick, just talk about this dumb movie that you love so much, and let's get past this.
After settling in Green Hills, Sonic is eager to prove he has what it takes to be a true hero. His test comes when Dr. Robot Nick returns, this time with a new partner, Knuckles. In search for an emerald that has the power to destroy civilizations, Sonic teams up with his own sidekick, Tails, the Fox. And together, they embark on a globe-trotting journey to find the emerald before it falls into the wrong hands. So, yeah, Sonic 2 is maybe the best movie I've seen in theaters this year. Not a joke. I went to a crisp Tuesday evening showing with me and a bunch of families. And it was the most electric theater experience I've had in quite some time. These kids were shouting, they were hollering, they were saying, "Is he dead?" every 3 minutes. Very vocal crowd of 7-year-olds. Basically, here's the thing. If you loved the first Sonic, directed by Jeff Fowler, starring Ben Schwartz, then you're going to love the mega blockbuster hit Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which not only doubles down on the fun, but it doubles down on the excitement as well.
Dang, I thought you were going to go a little bit longer than that, but okay.
Oh, I was just
Might I
taking a
add-
breather. Tails is introduced into this movie.
Okay. Nick, you actually saw this movie.
Yeah,
Right?
it was awesome. I'm not like this. This isn't a bit. Like it was a genuinely awesome movie.
Okay, you have it at the top of your top 10 list of 2022.
Yeah,
mind you, we have
that's clearly a joke, and I would not stand
that's,
for it.
But that's what I'm saying is that he said, no joke, it is the best movie I've seen this year. That's what
Sonic
he
the
said.
Hedgehog 2.
This is
So, Jason, this is why I think that is not a joke, because you got a crowd of 7-year-olds shouting, "Is he dead?"
There was a
And-
lot of potential death, let me tell you. They were asking that question over and over again.
So,
And let me say this.
You saw the Batman.
No, let me say this. Idris Elba said that he was not going to do a sexy voice for Knuckles. And let me tell you what, he did the sexiest Knuckles voice I have ever heard in my entire life. Knuckles is a heartthrob vocally. And
did he actually say that he wouldn't
yeah,
do a
he
sexy
said he's
voice?
not going to do a sexy voice. And I beg to differ, sir. That was one of the hottest sounding whatever animal he is I've ever heard. Knuckles rules. Awesome introduction. Jim Carrey, who I haven't mentioned yet, hilarious. He's so goofy and slapstick. Awesome. He fully turns into Egghead in this movie. Dr. Robotnik. So funny. The laughs never stop.
Ian, if we want to keep listeners, we got to get Nick off the Sonic talk.
And I'm going to spoil one thing. So if you don't want Sonic the Hedgehog 2 spoilers, time to pause. I will give you 5 seconds to just skip like 30 seconds.
No one
5,
here
4,
listening cares.
3, 2, 1. Shadow is introduced in the post-credit scene. It was amazing. I thought, is Shadow ever going to show up? And he does in the post-credit scene. So not only are they bringing him in, but they're going to do a whole Sonic franchise now. 3rd movie down the pipe. Shadow the Hedgehog, Knuckles, Tails the Fox, Sonic, all the gang back together.
You know, I'm digging on Nick for loving this movie so much, but I took my headphones off so I could not hear the spoiler because honestly, this has a better review on Letterboxd than the predecessor. So yeah,
it does.
Day,
this
Jason,
movie, like,
sue me,
sue me.
Jokes
I
aside,
might
watch it.
This Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is a legitimately better movie than the first one.
What do you mean, jokes aside? I thought you weren't joking this whole time.
I'm not joking, but everyone kind of clowns on the first one, like. It had the whole Twitter thing where people like dunked on it because the eyes were so squinty and small. But this one, it's fine. It's so fun. Electric. 5 of 5 for me.
Electric. I think you're just saying electric because Sonic creates electricity as he runs fast.
Yeah, he has blue electricity. He's a hedgehog.
Gotta go fast, right? What was I gonna say?
This gets 5 knuckles from me.
Okay.
5 knuckles.
I've not seen the first Sonic the Hedgehog, and I've certainly not seen the second Sonic the Hedgehog. And Nick, I'm sorry, I don't think I plan on watching either.
I will say this, that it seems to be headed in
Sonic's gonna shoot you.
It seems that this is headed in the direction of the best video game adaptation, but I don't even know if you want to call it that because it's
it is real. I'm not joking. It is not only the best video game adaptation to date, but it has made the most money on return of a comic book or of a video game movie. It is the most profitable video game movie. That's not
really saying much
of
though.
all time.
Video game
but this is how legends are made.
Okay, nice reference.
You dominate your lane.
Let's segue into this movie that we did not see.
Well, before we segue, let me just ask, because we have to ask at the end of any review that we do. Nick, what was the Letterboxd rating that you gave?
I gave it 5 knuckles. 5 knuckles out of 5 knuckles.
What do you mean? What was his score?
We need to move on. Okay, so we're going to move on to our second movie. We have 3 total movies that we're going to review here. This is a movie that
do we have 3?
we have 2.5. I don't think we're going to be talking about this movie either. To be honest, guys, you might be asking yourselves as you're driving in the car, listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you might be asking yourself, you might even be at home watching the YouTube channel, and you might
please
be
like
saying,
and subscribe.
You might be saying, yes, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much. You might be saying, Jason, Ian, Nick, why are we talking about these movies that nobody cares about? And to that listener, I say, that's a fantastic question, sir or ma'am. The only one with the answer to that question is Nick Stites. The answer on the first movie, Sonic, is because obviously this man has an irrational love for a child's movie.
We said that we would see every big release, and it was a major release, and April was incredibly backed up.
I don't know if that counts as a major release. It does. The second movie here certainly does not count as a major release, but you're going to have to argue and give a rational, valid reason of why this second movie is even on the list. Oh, on the notes, I see Ian is about to delete it, and it's deleted, but we're going to mention it. The second movie on the list was
Ian.
Ambulance.
You better Control-Z that, buddy.
The Michael Bay movie starring Who starred in it? I don't even know.
Jake Gyllenhaal,
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yaha,
Jake Gyllenhaal, yes.
Abdul Mateen.
None of us saw it because we know it's going to be terrible.
Wait,
and because
Jason.
we know no one cares about hearing our review on it. But
Jason, I saw Ambulance, you fool.
No, you did
you
not.
fool.
No, you did
Oh
not.
no,
boy,
there's no
did I.
way you
I
actually
watched it
did.
this morning.
No.
I knew
You're
that you
kidding
idiots
me.
weren't gonna watch it. I
Oh
watched
my
it this
gosh.
morning so that I
You
could
did
talk about
not.
it. Oh yes,
you
I
watched
did.
Ambulance. You
I watched
Ambulance.
it this morning.
No, you did not. No,
Not
I
joking.
guarantee. No, there's no way you did. There's
It is.
no way
I
you
did.
did.
Ian and I were talking before this. Why did we even mention it? Because none of us watched it.
Because I thought you idiots were gonna. I gave you 2 weeks to watch it, and you
I
didn't.
was the one
And
who saw Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent first.
I saw
Nick
that.
saw Sonic, so honestly, this is on Jason because
Everyone, all of us were reviewing the Nick Cage movie. You're not special. We all saw it.
What do you mean?
So
What,
far,
we're
I'm
supposed
2
to go
for
out
2
to see-
in extra
Okay.
credit activities.
Okay, Nick, you should be given a 30-minute, 30. I'm sorry. No. Oh my goodness, made a huge mistake there. You should be the one given a 30-second timer. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. I'm pulling
Yeah,
up my timer.
thank you.
I'm pulling up
Jason.
my timer. You're gonna get 30 seconds to give your review of Ambulance, and you're gonna realize at the end of this that you wasted 2 hours of your morning today.
There's no,
two
way
and a
you
half
saw
hours.
it this
Are
morning.
you ready, Nick? Are you ready, Nick?
1 second. 1 second. One
No,
second.
he's got to pull up some source material to give his review.
Yeah, because I deleted his source material this morning.
I was never going to watch Ambulance because I know no one cares about Ambulance. No one.
That's not true. You can't just write off an entire major blockbuster release.
No, I bet you the majority of people listening don't even know what the movie is.
Nick,
okay?
That's
It's
insane.
Monday.
That's an insult to our viewers.
Nick, you worked today. You go to work at night. You go to work in the morning.
Yeah, I watched it at work at my desk. I watched Ambulance at work.
Oh man, I hope your boss isn't listening to the pod. Okay, you're gonna get 30 seconds to review Ambulance in 3, 2, 1, go. Is he just not gonna do it?
No, he's pulling up.
I'm gonna let an ambulance
Oh,
review
God,
it.
we can barely hear it, Nick. We can't hear it. We can only hear it when you talk.
Do you hear the ambulance noises?
Yeah, very brief. Seriously, this is your review. You
No,
got
it's the
5 seconds.
ambulance's review.
You got 5 seconds to say.
Directed by
anything.
Michael Bay.
Okay. All right, moving on to the last movie. Please.
All right, let's move on. Okay, this is the actual movie that all three of us saw. That will.
Wait, can I give my rating?
Review.
Can I give my
Oh
rating?
yeah. What was your Letterboxd rating?
I didn't want to do it because I didn't want
You
to spoil
wanted
the
it to be a surprise.
I wanted
that
it
was
to
a
be-
surprise.
And it was. That was a genuine surprise.
That was
Well
a
done.
surprise. It was
A movie.
strong 2.5. Jake Gyllenhaal does
Wow.
crazy cocaine eyes for 2.5 hours. Michael Bay invented drones. It's probably his best movie since.
I have
the
heard the drone footage in it is really nice.
It is insane. He uses it a lot, but it like the drone footage is genuinely like kind of crazy.
I would assume it's as Michael Bay as a Michael Bay film can get.
It's his best movie since the first Transformers, I would say, if not better.
Okay.
That's good to know.
I looked back. It's maybe his best movie of the 21st century. Not a joke.
Where can someone watch this? I'm just asking for a friend.
Well, it is in theaters, and it is also, I saw last night that it is now on streaming. You can rent it.
Oh.
So that's how I
rented
got
this.
my hands on it.
And your eyeballs.
And
All
my
right.
eyeballs and my
Well,
Jason.
we're gonna
2.5
move on.
sirens from me.
2.5 silence from Nick. Okay, we're gonna move on to the actual movie that probably anyone cares about that's listening. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. This is actually massive talent. This is actually, I think, a really intriguing movie, and I think we can actually have an interesting conversation about it. Nicolas Cage plays Nicolas Cage in a movie about Nicolas Cage. that's pretty much all you need to know about the film. It co-stars Pedro Pascal as basically a huge super fan of Nick Cage, the actor, and invites him to his mansion because his character is very rich. Invites him to his mansion for his birthday party, and they end up hanging out together, and it turns into basically a buddy film. It also co-stars Tiffany Haddish as a CIA agent, but let's just focus on Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal here. Ian, you watched it. All three of us watched it. This is kind of our main review of the episode. It's the one that went up last week against The Northman, and certainly The Northman is a better film than this. But, I mean, I think that they should have waited a week to release it this weekend because this was a really intriguing and surprising film to me that should have opened by its own. And unfortunately, it kind of got swept under the rug because of The Northman. What did you think of The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent?
I think it was a very enjoyable film, and I think it's nothing, crazy or outstanding. I think, in a sense, in a spoiler-free review, it's very enjoyable. It's not too Hollywood at all, which is what I was going into this expecting. I thought it was just going to be a bunch of Hollywood, themes and whatnot, and they stick with the Nick Cage theme, but they don't. They drop it actually pretty early within the first quarter of the film, and it just turns into this buddy movie, like you called it, Jason, and it's hilarious. It's fun. It's, again, nothing outstanding. The story isn't, standout-ish, but honestly, the action scenes in it and just the jokes that they made were very surprising considering what this movie turned out to be. So that's my spoiler-free review, and I would recommend anybody go see it, especially if they're a fan of Nicolas Cage. I think this is, one in a long time that stands out for him. I think it's great, and I think him and Pedro Pascal's charisma in this is top notch. So, Nick, what about you, bro?
What do you think, Nick?
I feel like I have been dominating the reviews the past 15 minutes. So, Jay, why don't you give yours before I speak again?
That's a good point because you're the only one that watched the last two terrible movies. Okay.
I still can't believe you saw him.
You say terrible very loosely.
That was the most shocking moment on Potland yet.
Yeah, that was
Nick showing up.
It was the biggest plot twist on my life
having
ever.
watched Ambulance. Unbelievable. I really enjoyed this film. It was, to your point, Ian, I actually was pretty surprised at the end of it. I went into it knowing that, hey, this is a very meta movie about Nick Cage, that Nick Cage is in. It's probably going to poke a lot of fun at Nick Cage's old filmography and his old characters. But I came out of it thinking, hey, this movie actually had a ton of heart in it. Nick Cage actually put on a great performance, and it was a great reminder that Nick Cage is a really talented actor. Mm-hmm. And I think he gets a bad rap because he simply acts a lot. And they even talk about it. They even talk about it in the movie about how he acts in so many movies, and it's almost like a breaking the fourth wall moment where he talks directly to the audience, and he says, obviously I direct in a lot of movies because obviously I act in a lot of movies because I love acting. Mm-hmm. It's my career, it's what pays the bills, it's what I enjoy doing, and so I'm going to be in as many movies as I want to be in because that's my job. And it was kind of like an aha moment for me. It's like, oh man, we give Nick Cage such a bad rap because he's in so many terrible movies, when I think the reality is he's just in a lot of movies. And what percentage of Hollywood
and he was
movies,
in debt.
And he was in a lot of debt, so he had to do it. And again, that goes along with the point he made in the movie, which was, I had to do it to pay the bills. And he gets a bad rap because how many movies of all the films that Hollywood pumps out are actually good movies?
Right.
The percentage is pretty small. And so you have an actor like Nick Cage who's in a ton of movies. The number of quality movies he is in is pretty small. But if you think about the good movies he's been in, Con Air, I think National Treasure is definitely on there as well. Face Off. There's a ton of movies that he's in that he's actually really good in. And he's really good in this movie. I think he's superb in this movie. I think Pedro Pascal alongside him plays an awesome character. And I want to push back a little bit to what you're saying, Ian. I think the story is really fascinating. I was really intrigued. We can save it for a spoiler portion, but I think they delve into some really interesting stuff in the movie. And Pedro Pascal plays this character who is also kind of acting on his own. He's like playing a character who's trying to act, but is a terrible actor. It's, again, a very meta way of playing a character that comes off really funny. The chemistry between the two, fantastic. I said in my review, it's not a spoiler at all, but you think that this movie is meta, which it is, and you watch the first quarter of the movie and it's super meta, and you're like, okay, there's no way this movie can become even more meta, and it doubles down on it. And we can dig into that in spoilers, but it is really funny, really entertaining. I enjoyed it. Nick,
this is my turn.
This is your turn.
I pretty much agree with everything you guys said. Nick Cage, Pedro Pascal were the standouts. The movie really hit its stride once they were together. Chemistry was great. Nick Cage is great. Yada, yada, yada. My main takeaway from this movie, and this is a little bit of a downer, I don't like Tiffany Haddish, like, at all.
Yeah.
I don't think she's funny, and I don't know if I don't think she's funny because of, like, how she is as, like, a comedian, or if it's just, like, the overexposure thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just this movie. Like, I have yet to be like, oh wow, Tiffany Haddish was a standout for me. And I get that they kind of had to get some more firepower comedically with the FBI agents. I get that. Ike Barinholtz was pretty funny. It was just like, I don't know. That was my main takeaway. Like, if I didn't say that, I would have been bummed.
Yeah, I think I was able to just kind of disregard her and her character in the movie, which, you know, she's in the movie and she's throughout the movie from beginning to end, but she doesn't really play a super significant character. I mean, the story's really just about Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal's character. It's really only about those two. I agree. She doesn't stand out. She doesn't add much to it. I'm not a big fan either. You know, I don't think she was very funny when she hosted the Oscars.
I don't think anybody outside of Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal have 2 cents on the table compared to what they did in this.
Yeah,
I think everybody else is, you know, I could have, essentially what I'm saying is I could have watched however long this movie is with just Nick and Pedro Pascal, literally. So I think I agree with you there, Nick. I think Tiffany Haddish is, as an actress, she's good, but I just don't like her in this movie, and I don't know. It's just I would have been fine with just Nick and Pedro just hashing it out. So
yeah, and the movie really hits its stride. Like, I would say its second act is probably its strongest, when it's just them broing out doing drugs in Spain.
Yep.
I could have done without the ex-wife daughter stuff at the beginning. I think that really brings down his, like, kind of the acting, he's at rock bottom stuff. Like, it just kind of feels like filler. Like, the main plot, basically all of the subplots in this movie I didn't really care for. The main plot and the heartbeat of Nick Cage playing Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal basically being like his number one fan, hilarious. Some of the hardest laughs I've had in a theater in a minute.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's talk about some spoilers. Let's
get into spoilers.
Yeah, let's do a couple minutes of spoiler talk. There's not much in the realm of spoilers, but I just did want to mention about that.
Spoilers ahead.
Yeah, spoilers ahead, and 3, 2, 1 spoilers.
Spoilers.
When they started writing the movie, so within the plot, you know, Pedro Pascal and Nick Cage are writing a screenplay. That screenplay is this movie that we just watched.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
like if like I mean, it just
I think
doubled
it's
down on the meta-ness of the movie. And
I think it's hilarious once you
was-
like when you put two and two together, it just falls into your lap, and you're left with, oh my god, this is
they're
awesome.
writing the movie that we're watching, and it's so funny. I just
Yeah.
thought it was so funny. There was so many times where I, you know, literally was laughing out loud in the theater. It's not like an outrageously hysterical film, but it was funny enough where I was chuckling a lot.
I like the
And-
I like the meta golden guns that he had. I like the
yeah.
I like
Oh,
the
yeah.
I like the meta shrine that he had for Nick Cage down in the basement of
There
his
was
place.
so
that
many
was
great callbacks.
awesome.
Oh, that was
Old
so
Nick
funny
Cage
with the
movies.
Yeah.
with the
Oh.
golden guns.
Yeah. Yep. That you repeatedly used for Sonic 2, the return of Sonic, Sonic 2 Fast. And honestly, the action in this, that car chase scene at the end was actually not that bad. And I think if there was a podcast with, or just like just anything with Nick and Pedro in Spain, just on these grounds wherever they filmed, I think everybody would watch it because it was just, it fit so well. I think the wardrobe was awesome. Each of their outfits was so, they were just, it was cool. And it was one of the things that stood out. And I don't know. I'm just a big fan of how this turned out. Everything except for the story, other than the meta falling into your lap, obviously. So I gave it a 3-star. Jason, did you up it to 3.5?
I gave it a 3.5 in the beginning.
Okay. I was just wondering.
Yep.
The
I gave it a
letterbox
3.5.
the letterbox sheriff is on the prowl right now. So
I gave it a 3.5 from the start, which I know is pretty high, but I
mean,
really did enjoy quite a bit.
yeah. I mean, you justified it in your review. So, Nick.
I gave it 3 golden guns.
Okay. There were only 2 in the movie, so you got to do 3 of something.
I'm adding
else.
one more golden gun out of 5 possible golden guns.
Okay. So we got 3, 3.5, and 3 for Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which I recommend anybody who's listening to this go and see. I think it's definitely one of Nick Cage's standout films. And I think it's just because nobody has done this outside of, like, obviously documentaries. Nick, you stated in your review this is the craziest documentary you have seen, to which, an argument could be made this is a documentary, but it's a loose documentary on, honestly, a great friendship that we did not know between Pedro and Nick. I really hope they're like that in real life. Let's clean this up, guys, after a beef of an episode. I'm sure everybody's just overwhelmed by seeing our face and Nick just constantly giving finger guns the entire time. But Nick, you watched Ozark. I've yet to start it. What are your thoughts? Do you give it 2? Do you give it 2 poker chips? How many poker chips do you give Ozark Part 2?
Finished officially. It's done, wrapped on Netflix. Part 2 of the final season dropped this past weekend. I binged it, finished last night, and it is fine.
Yeah.
Ending was a little
just fine.
clunky. Ending was clunky. It felt rushed at points, which is weird because the season was like kind of a double album of sorts, where versus 10 episodes, you got 14 total. I just thought these back 7, they wrapped everything up uber quick. It wasn't like the most insulting ending I've ever seen. Like, it was fine, and it does get points from me.
It's no Game of Thrones ending.
Oh no, like I could see myself rewatching Ozark. I will probably never rewatch Game of Thrones. And Ozark does get points from me for not overstaying its welcome. It realized that it was done. The arcs of these characters were complete. Didn't stay around for a season or 2 extra of just like meandering. Yeah. It does get points for that and being self-aware. Even with the ending being clunky, I would still say it's probably my favorite Netflix show. And probably the best Netflix drama overall. House of Cards definitely loses steam after they did so many more extra seasons, and Kevin Spacey turned out to be a pervert. Yeah,
Yep.
there he is,
still have yet to-
right behind you.
Yeah, just staring
So
right into our souls.
I think it's fine. It's definitely still a top 10 show for me, I would say.
Yeah.
But the ending
wasn't as incredible.
ending,
wasn't as great
and
as you
we can
hoped it
talk.
would be.
Maybe we can talk spoilers once you guys catch up really fast. But it's fine, and I don't think it needed to be anything special. It wasn't super insulting. Very middle of the road. So
I'm still very much looking forward to it. I think it's on.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost on the level of Breaking Bad, and right now I'm watching Better Call Saul, so I think it's a pretty easy transition for me. But let's move on real quick to Doctor Strange 2 predictions. That Multiverse of Madness premieres Thursday night, but drops on Friday. What are your guesses? Do you guys have any predictions?
Yeah, I feel like we could. I mean, we
have
to be a little careful on these predictions because, I mean, we could get really.
We could just say
weeds.
We could just say this.
everyone just give one each.
Doctor Strange is going to cast some spells.
I got a big one. I have a big one, but I'll let Ian, Nick, you one prediction each.
I literally just said mine. Jason, you go. Actually,
Are you
Nick,
serious? That's what you're going with?
That's what I'm going with. I literally could not think of anything. I promise you. Nick?
I think that my prediction is Deadpool will appear.
Oh, that's a bad prediction. That's not going to happen.
I think it could.
I think if you asked a lot of people this question and they only were able to give one prediction, the majority of people would say Tom Cruise showing up as Superior Iron Man.
Yeah.
It's like a very popular thing right now to
Yeah,
say.
I agree.
I'm actually going to say something different. John Watts leaving Fantastic Four this week. The timing is not a coincidence. I predict John Krasinski is going to show up in this movie as Mr. Fantastic.
That's probably the strongest one. And honestly, I will warn anybody who is on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, there are spoilers galore. And don't even look up the word fantastic on Google.
Nope.
Because
I haven't seen a single spoiler. I've kept off. I don't know if you have, Ian, but just to put out transparency, I haven't seen a single spoiler. That's just me coming up with something. But I do hear that there are spoilers out there, so be careful.
There are, and I just don't look up the word fantastic anywhere. I was trying to do my research on John.
What about if you're looking up Fantastic Mr. Fox?
Don't. I was doing if you're going to do that, do it in Netflix because there's no news in Netflix. So please just do that any streaming site. But I was trying to do my research for John Watts today. And I just saw a bunch of stuff that I quickly clicked off of. So just don't even look up the word on a browser. But I'm very excited. Jason, are you seeing it on Friday, Thursday, Saturday?
Thursday.
Thursday. Nice.
I've mentioned it so many times before. I'm an AMC StubHubs member, which I love AMC out here in California. They have incredible theaters near me in Orange County. But I always end up being the one to buy everyone tickets. So I literally bought, when the night tickets came out, I bought like 9 tickets.
Dang. Wow.
So we'll go in as a big crew Thursday night. I'm pretty stoked.
Ian and I are seeing it Friday night.
Friday and
a day late.
Yeah. Well, Nick's still running his high off of Sonic 2, the return of Sonic.
What does that have anything to do with the tickets? You said
Anyways,
Friday worked better.
That
was a you thing, Ian.
Let's go to recommendations.
I gave you the option.
Let's go to recommendations / what have we been watching. I'll give my 2 cents. It was a very movie-light week for me. The only movie I watched that I haven't logged on Letterboxd is Molly's Game. And the reason why I haven't logged it is because we watched it in increments as the day went on because I had a really long weekend and I was catching up on some sleep. But I would say from what I watched, in the little increments, it's a good movie. If I were to give it stars right now, I would give it 3 stars. I think Jessica is very good in this, and Idris Elba has a surprisingly, overtake worthy role in it to where he kind of steals the show. But honestly, not a bad watch, and if you're bored and you're on Netflix, go and watch it because it's decently
Did you say
good.
Idris Elba?
Yeah.
Voice of Knuckles.
Molly. Okay.
And
me. Say my name, please.
the quick other things I've been watching Better Call Saul. I'm on season 2.
Heck yeah.
I'm all caught up on Outer Range, Moon Knight, and Halo. Halo is still
How's that going?
It's so bad. Just don't watch it.
Really?
Just don't watch it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It's really bad. But Moon Knight has Nick, would you agree that these last 2 episodes have been your favorites so far?
They've been fine. I have found that the stuff I like about Moon Knight is when he's not Moon Knight. Like, if he's in costume,
he
don't
hasn't
care.
even been Moon Knight the last 2 episodes.
I know. Like, we saw him be, like, his origin, sorta, but that I'm not even counting that. Like, like you said, Jason, he really hasn't fought anyone as Moon Knight in a couple weeks.
Even beyond that, he hasn't even been Moon Knight the entire series.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gotten
like maybe 2 minutes
total. We've gotten 2 or 3 full scenes of him as Moon Knight, and that's it. And it's been 7, 8 episodes.
Whereas
5.
in WandaVision, we got both Wanda and Vision.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know?
yeah. Nice.
And Falcon and Winter
Nice, Ian.
Soldier.
Are you proud of that one?
Very.
I'm caught up. I'm caught up on Moon Knight as well, and we haven't talked about Moon Knight really in the last couple of weeks. I think we'll talk about it a lot more next week because it's going to be the season finale. But
yeah, big Marvel week next week.
I'm not as big on Moon Knight as
Same.
I was after the first 2 episodes, but I still am finding it really enjoyable, and I'm hoping it sticks its landing. I thought last episode was really interesting, the things it set up. I thought it was an interesting episode. So I have high hopes for the finale. What's that, Ian?
I was going to say to an earlier point where you're talking about CGI, I'm just not a fan of the CGI in Moon Knight. It's just a little overdone.
Looks horrible.
Yeah, and it just does not
That
look
one
great.
I can kind of suspend some disbelief just because, again, we talked about it before. It's a TV show, so I can give it some grace.
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No. So I watched Moon Knight, and then obviously I am caught up with Winning Time, the Magic Johnson series on HBO. So both Moon Knight and both Winning Time has its season finale this week, and Doctor Strange comes out this week. This is a huge week. So all those shows and movies are fantastic. I like Moon Knight. I really like Winning Time. It's a fantastic show. Watch Winning Time.
I think you're the only person who thinks that.
And then, everyone in the sports world is so upset with Winning Time just because it's factually inaccurate. Like, hello, have you ever watched a sports movie in your entire life? This is a dramatization of a historical event. It's just what it is. Enjoy it for what it is. You know, Jerry West is like suing HBO. It's honestly.
As a book reader, I stand with Jerry West.
I honestly think it's pathetic. Just enjoy the show for what it is. Jerry West is a badass in the show. He's awesome. I love Jerry West in the show. What are you complaining about? I just think it's pathetic. Get over yourself.
This is a good transition to my
Can I just?
recommendations
Oh wait.
of the week.
Can I just say
one last thing? And I am 8 minutes late to my meeting. I have to leave, but this is gonna be a shocker. This weekend, I watched all of Halo.
what?
I'm completely caught up to Halo.
Whoa.
It's not great, but it's got some interesting premises to it that's kept me coming back. But I'm caught up to Halo, and I'm just really intrigued
Jason,
how it's going to end.
I feel so bad. I'm sorry.
The
What
action
episode
sequences
are they on?
terrible. Halo looks terrible.
I think it's on
but
5 or 6 right now.
It's not great. All right, Nick, you got to finish up quick. I gotta go. You got to finish up.
Yeah, I have been watching the Apple documentary They Call Me Magic, which is the documentary about Magic Johnson's life. Got some cool establishing shots here in Lansing, so it's cool to see. They did some current shooting there, which was kind of fun to see.
Did they shoot the giraffe at all? Like, they take a picture of the giraffe?
I'm sure one of the drone shots picked it up way out in the distance.
Okay.
But they love those smokestacks because he kind of went to high school around that area.
Okay.
I've been really enjoying that. Barry's back. I forgot to mention it last week. Bill Hader's show. One of my favorite shows. It's season 3 is back after a 3-year hiatus. The first 2 episodes have given me a lot of anxiety, and so I'm curious to see where the season goes.
That's
'Cause
I've heard
Barry
it's
is wee bit depressed.
I've heard it's a comedic Dexter almost.
No, not
Okay.
really.
Maybe I was wrong in hearing that. But you got anything else?
Yeah, I've been reading a book about Tiger Woods, which is really great. I'm almost done with that.
That's awesome.
Other than that, I think that about catches me up. We'll talk Moon Knight next week.
Yeah, we'll talk big Marvel week next week. We got
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. We'll wrap up Moon Knight. I know Jason's got to get to a meeting, but thank you everybody for tuning into this episode of podcast. Guys, I'm sorry my video cut out probably around halfway through.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I told you.
That's what I was.
told you
Okay, it wasn't Nick's. It was my video. Okay, let me
my
just
word.
finish the outro, and then you can get to your meeting. Because the
let's
grind never stops for Jason. Apparently.
Oh,
Gangrene.
you're gonna find some good old pictures for this.
There is a picture of me standing next to a plane,
Nick,
so
send
maybe
me
you guys
pictures of
can
Ian.
use that.
Nick, that's on you. Send me pictures
no,
of Ian
I
from
can
the YouTube
send
video.
I can send my own pictures.
You're not allowed to do PR for yourself. Are you serious?
Literally, I can turn my camera back on right now. That way,
All right,
you guys
let's
can
go.
use one last
Let's
picture.
wrap it up.
All right, thank
Let's
you so
wrap it up.
much for tuning into Podland. I am your co-host Ian, alongside my buddies Jason and Nick. Thank you for tuning in, guys, and I'm sorry about my video, but we'll see you next week with Mr. Strange, Doctor Strange.
Mr.
Strange.
See you guys. Love you, Mom.
Bye, guys.
Love you, Mom.